Come one, come all, gather around, sit around the campfire and sing your campfire song, your CAMPFIRESONG song. It's time for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe here on the channel. You are watching Hypocritic GG, streaming exclusively on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, I'm Cheatspeak, and it's about time that we give you a little bit of the card action. Nice to see you. We got some D20s going in the background already. Let's start with that before we get into some card action for the night. How we all doing? We got people here already. This is very, very good. Full Metal's asking. Stardew is not tomorrow night, because every other week, that is right. We'll be doing it next Thursday, not this Thursday. That's our Stardew Valley Community Farm, of course. You are clear to go bowling, and no, this is not Marvel Rivals. I did not change the Twitch information in time. Apologies for it if it's disappoint, but you know what? We all got to live with our shame every so often. Nice to see you, though. How you doing? We're going to roll your D20 because we have a fun new dice mechanic that we like to do here on the channel. Exclamation point D20 lets me roll a D20, you see that one, for you, and whatever comes up is what I either have to do or give you or make happen right in front of your eyes. So, for example, let's roll our first one of the night for Shadow. You can see all the results possible there on the left, and we kick off with a 19. Oh, goody. And that means self-sabotage. Great. So that means I have to make my race, the next race that I'm in, harder. Usually I don't race for the first like 10 or 15 seconds of it, and then I go. So we're going to start with that. Thanks so much. Oh, goody. we did do a Marvel Rivals stream last week, I believe. And it was a lot of fun. So it's something we're going to probably come back to on the channel here, probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm good after that. Well, there we go. See, it all comes around, don't it? Nice to see you, though. How you doing? How's everything? We're doing our normal thing here on the channel, so all the usual stuff applies. Exclamation point D20 whenever you want to make us roll things, and that could be anything from like changing shirts to multiple dabs to making me draw something. Self-sabotage a race, and it looks like they're just kicking off on Piranha Plant Cove, so we're going to have a little bit of time to just hang out with each other. How nice, how delightful. Isn't that good? Don't we like when that happens? Exclamation point and then a color will change the color of the lights behind me if you want to make it something else other than this vaguely rose gold color that's going on back there. It can be whatever you want. My vacation is over, so I feel that. I would be unhappy too. I'm pretty good, all things considered. It's work's been busy, but not unmanageable, and life's been pretty good. It's going to be a very busy few weeks coming up in the next couple of months, so I'm excited about that. I was just recently, you want to talk about fun things, I was just recently at the Eagles-Rams divisional round of the NFL playoffs because I am a 25-year Rams fan and counting, so I had to go into the belly of the beast in Philly with a lot of friends to go to that game. Did not go the way I hoped, but I also made it out without significant injury or harm to myself, though I was threatened a couple of times by some, let's say, passionate Eagles fans. So that comes with the territory, I guess. Typical Rams game. No one there. I counted about 9 entire Rams fans that I ran into at the stadium, so that was more than I expected, honestly. I was absolutely the only Rams fan on the home side, I think, period. So in the upper deck, so that was fun for me. But no, other than that, things are pretty status. Yeah, I know. It's yeah, 25 years. I might be the longest tenured Rams fan in existence. It's one of those teams, you know. It's fan base seemingly lacks that hardcore passion that you see in places like Philly or Buffalo, now that that's happening. Playoff football, of course, is very exciting, and I could spend a whole stream just talking about that, but that's not why we're here. Now, is it? We're going to get into it. So we will self-sabotage here at the start. So whatever we end up doing for this first race, I will pause for probably the first 10 seconds of it and just sit at the starting line and then go, and however that goes, we'll see. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty kart-filled episode. Yeah, no, we did do Marvel Rivals last week. That was a ton of fun, and Full Metal and Xerox came in and helped me get up to speed after my first couple rounds of trying it out, and it really is just, Overwatch with Marvel characters, truly. It was kind of amazing to me how closely a lot of those mechanics and characters match up to kind of equivalent heroes in Overwatch. But it was a pretty good time, and I would expect that it will return to the stream at some point relatively soon. I did have a good time with it. When we will see, that also, you know, slots in and around our community farms, the next episode of which will be next Thursday, so a week tomorrow. Give us a vote here, chat. You, of course, get to vote for whichever track that we lay our vote toward. You can put in 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat going left to right. Fort's familiar with this. So in this case, 1 would be Mount Wario, 2 would be Mario Circuit, 3 would be Grumble Volcano, and 4 is always random, blocked by My Ugly Mug here. Best track in base game. It is absolutely a top 3 track in base game, and we know that to be true. We have our long-standing kart track list and tier list that we've kept up over time, which I have to go dig up. Every time we play this, I feel like I say that. We gotta go dig up the track list and the tier list, even though I'm pretty sure it's either on Tier Maker where I have it saved, or it's in the Discord somewhere. Exclamation point Discord if you're not in there. I may have to go in and do it again just for shiggles. I think that might be a reasonable exercise. 96 tracks we'd have to go through. We're on Electrodrome anyway, so we must have randomed out of that. So I will give it the requisite 10-second pause because I have to self-sabotage, and then we will get this rolling. I'm not really timing it, so I'm just gonna hop here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now we go. That is... Oh! It might have... Did it kick me for hanging out too long in the back? That I would not be surprised. I tried to hop and kind of move around to make sure that it didn't think that I dropped out, but maybe that wasn't enough. So we'll try it again. Maybe not as long of a pause next time. that was really funny. Maybe too aggressive on self-sabotaging. That's the game's cue to me that, you know, I need to be gentler with myself. And that is A-okay. Part of why we're doing Kart tonight, and it's kind of hinted at in the title, is that obviously over the past week or two, Nintendo revealed officially. It's another one where we jump in right at the start. That's interesting. Nintendo revealed the Switch 2 to the world formally after every leak seemingly known to man gives us every, you know, piece of the hardware that we could have possibly laid eyes on. And surprisingly, a lot of those leaks were spot on, and that was you didn't notice. It hasn't been everywhere or anything. So a lot of those leaks were spot on, and that was really interesting. And not entirely expected, I think, either. You know, you see a lot of those leaks that claim to be, you know, super true and got their hands on the prototype and whatever. But those are all really, really spot on, and it was curious. Of course, going to CES and seeing accessory makers showing off their cases and accessories for the Switch 2, the unannounced console kind of takes a little wind out of those sails. But now that it's announced, you know, they very briefly showed what I assume is a pretty early glimpse at the next Mario Kart, which not only is very exciting because we have not had new console Mario Kart in nearly a full decade at this point. We are just a couple months away from the 10-year anniversary of the original Kart 8's release on the Wii U, which is wild, absolutely wild to think about. I remember going to that, I forget if it was a midnight launch or like lined up first thing in the morning for it at GameStop back in Scranton, where I'm from. So it's so strange to think that so much time has passed where this has been sort of the de facto Mario Kart. Because in my opinion, and we've talked about the hot take, Tour doesn't count. We don't talk about Bruno, we don't talk about taxes, and we don't talk about Tour. Those are the rules. But it's been weird, and so now we're in this kind of period where probably in the not too distant future, potentially by year's end, even though we don't have any software details yet, Kart 8 and Kart 8 Deluxe specifically will not be the in vogue Mario Kart anymore after so many years. And it's very strange for me to sort of wrap my head around that a little bit, given how much of my own kind of personal identity and competitive spirit has been latched onto this game throughout the years. You know, I make such a big deal a lot of the time about, you know, playing it competitively and going to tournaments, and I'm proud of the results that I have and how well I've done. So it's weird to think about the time that this game has had coming to an end. And we'll get existential about it, I'm sure, tonight. Give us a vote here, chat. 1 is Athens Dash, 2 is Boo Lake, 3 is Shroom Bridge, and 4 is Random. We get down to about 2 or 3 seconds on my screen, and I will automatically pick something. Boo Lake, I had a feeling that was coming. You were in college when Mario Kart 8 came out. Let that sit. Ugh. Don't, oh, no, no. I was. That was... And that's a little scary to think that, yeah, that was... I did a master's program on top of my 4-year degree, so technically college for me was 2010 to 2016. So this was kind of right smack in the middle couple of years of this in 2014 when it came out. Yoshi Valley. I will go backwards and forwards for like 10 seconds just so the game doesn't kick me, and then we'll do this properly. That it is very strange to think about. And we're gonna have we'll have many an existential quandary. Don't worry about it. So we will get there wholeheartedly. All right. Start in 10 seconds. Just kind of driving around at the start. 3, 2, 1, go. Is that enough self-sabotage? We'll find out. We're too early for booze, so I'm just gonna give this a little room. Not that it really matters, because we're so far behind at this point. Well, the intent there, we almost came up and hit him. And this will help immensely to get through the chaos. And now we're kind of smuggling a bullet bill here. You want to be cautious with Starman, of course. Not a ton of places to break it with a bullet bill until the end of the track, anyway. Oh, that might hit somebody. We are right on Peach's... Or Peach is right on our tail with that bomb, so we got to be careful. But we've worked our way back to first by the end of lap 2, so we're going to take a chance with this banana and risk the boo because Peach is so close to us. And now that we've got some space, we're on Peach's Peach. This is a family show where we swear a lot. Careful now. We'll take that bomb. We'll see if we can get anybody close by, because the gap is going to be too much at this point. It doesn't really matter now. Our friend is coming, so the bomb may be helpful as we make the last gasp here at the finish. Lay it down. They might, yeah, they got through it with the star. So that's okay. Mario RPG is a kid's game, but it still has Peaches. Peaches what? You know, fun fact on my nerd cred gaps. I've never actually played Super Mario RPG, either the original one on the SNES or the remake on Switch, which has been on my radar, as has the Thousand Year Door remake. Is it a remake, a remaster? What did they really do with that? Phenomenal choice, and Ribbon Road is a good choice there as well. Also on my radar, the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. That is a remake because it's in a different engine than the original game. that just came out a few days ago, I believe. I've been holding off on that one, largely because reviews haven't been super good, which has been kind of disappointing. For me, anyway, because I absolutely loved Donkey Kong Country Returns when it came out on the Wii. Some people had some problems with, you know, the waggle controls for pounding the ground and some of the actions there, you know, rolling and things like that. I loved it. Not far off from something like the waggle in Mario Galaxy, where you have to spin with the shaking the Wiimote. So I loved it. I did not play Returns 3D on the 3DS, so I don't know how that really went. But I loved Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii, just as I love Tropical Freeze on the Wii U and on the Switch. They're phenomenal, phenomenal games. Some of the best platformers of their era in both cases. So it was upsetting to see that it's kind of underwhelming on Switch, and that there are kind of performance issues that you shouldn't see in a Wii game, even if it is a remaster or a remake. Kind of the same thing with Sonic Colors Ultimate, right? Where, yes, you're remastering and spicing up a game that's a couple generations old, but you wouldn't expect the sort of performance issues and concerns that we see with that game and now with Country Returns HD. So, you know, it's all worth considering. It's probably not a $60 title is what the consensus seems to be. So we're factoring that in, and maybe I'll pick it up down the line for less. And that is a big gap that we just took. Nice shortcut to bridge that just in time for our friend to come out. We're going to get as much distance here as we can. That skips us, thankfully. We let that go because Peach was too close, and that actually worked in our favor here, so that was fun. You might have missed that shortcut. Lucifer, of all people, did not. But we bean her. If God is a woman, I guess the devil can be a woman too. Who knew, kids? I hear the shells. I don't see the shells. I'm ready this time. Bye-bye. It's still 10 years on. It is so satisfying. And it's never going to not be satisfying. I don't care about the double negative. It's still a valid point. And you can't stop me. Oh, man. Man. So... Oh, Peach is right on our butts. And that's where the mushroom shortcut absolutely murders you. Yep. Nothing we can do about that. Whoa, honky. That's why when we do competitive, and you get to pick your tracks, because some tournaments are random. Some you get to pick your own when it's your turn across the four players in your room. I love and I heavily prefer tracks that don't have a devastating mushroom shortcut at the end. Just to sort of gate off that sort of comeback from, you know, people behind you. It's a little presumptive. You know, you have to anticipate that you're front running. And then it sort of bites you in the ass if you need that mushroom shortcut and you can't take it. But it helps keeps a little bit of the randomness out of it, because you don't have to, luck out and have them not get a mushroom. So I prefer stuff like Sunshine Airport here. Or, I don't know if New York Minute has many like that in the back half of the track anyway. We're randoming out regardless. Dry Desert is a big offender in that way. Obviously, Ribbon Road there you saw. So those are all challenges. It looks like we're going to New York Minute. No, we're not. Okay. I'm hoping they release the Kirby 3DS games on Switch too. They're both really good, but Planet Robobot might be the best Kirby game ever made. And that's with Forgotten Land in the mix then too, yeah? Now, what's the other 3DS Kirby games? I will admit I'm not super up on my Kirby. Triple Deluxe, yeah. Honestly, a lot of them blend together, if I'm being totally honest. Aside from ones like Canvas Curse or Rainbow Curse, where there's a really obvious differentiating factor, for me, a lot of the Kirby games are really homogenous. Admittedly, I don't pay a ton of attention to them. That's why something like Forgotten Land really sticks out in my mind. But yeah, it's hard for me to kind of separate a lot of the Kirby games from each other. I'm gonna try to have the Piranha Plant eat it just a little bit too early on that. That's why Robobot stands out. Its gimmick is random in a good way. Tell us about this gimmick, because honestly, I can't really recall it. So, what's the hook? We are prepared to blow this on a red shell. Well, that was right on the edge of that. I was gonna say, we're holding off Gold Medal Mario for the time being, but that's about to change. Looks like Waluigi ate that third one for us, which, it's helpful. I think they got past the item box, though, so we should be good. I guess not. And now he's going into first with 2 reds. Isn't that exciting? How are we going to handle this, you ask? With a single mushroom, that's how, you turkeys. Now, do we abuse the mushroom shortcut here? We do. Right at the end, did we get her? No. She had enough protection. We were close. That was about the best we were going to do. Now, I just want to point out, for the record there, that both Gold Medal Mario there and Lucifer had triple reds each that we had to fend off. So that's some primo lamo, if I do say so. Whoa. Kirby has a mech suit, and it has a lot of fan service. Well, we do love fan service. Let's have a Sky Garden time. Normally, we would maybe go Wildwoods there, but let's have a Sky Garden event for ourselves. I'm on board with that. Okay, this is good. So yeah, let's get a little existential on it, huh? There's a lot of Switch 2 to talk about tonight, so we're going to, but it's going to be weird, and I've been thinking about it a little bit, and again, this was part of the impetus why we wanted to play Kart tonight. At some point, we're going to have to say goodbye to 8 Deluxe as the de facto Kart of the populace, right? Tournaments will move on to whatever the new one is. People will start focusing on whatever the new one is, and while I imagine 8 Deluxe will still continue to have a healthy life because Switch games will be playable on the Switch 2, and it will have pretty much full backwards compatibility with a little asterisk for games that have specific accessories that need that original Joy-Con, like the Ring Fit Adventure or Nintendo Labo or something like that. There will be some sort of expiration date for at least competitive, kind of culturally relevant Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, potentially within the next, 12 months. And that's really weird. For me especially, again, because so much of my kind of competitive and gaming identity, for lack of a better term, has centered around Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I've loved having the chance to, oh god, play the game in that sort of capacity. Tell me I dumped it on a triple green guy. I did. And it's going to be sad to need to move on from it. Now, obviously, we will wholeheartedly embrace whatever the next one is, because we are not going to give up our Mario Kart competitive authority crown just because there's a new one. We evolve with the times, right? But it's going to be weird. And it obviously won't be the same as this. So there is a certain amount of bittersweet feeling that comes with, like a Pokemon generation you're super fond of, if you can think of it that way, where maybe, you were really fond of Black and White, or you were super, super connected to X and Y or Sword and Shield or something like that in a competitive or casual context. That's going to bite me because they're just going to fire that red on me. Jeez. This is brutal. Mistakes were made. Well, old Greenie is so far ahead. We're getting bullets in third. I don't know how useful this green's going to be. It at least made it to the slide here. I'm going to hold this just because we want to hit that that shortcut at the end. Which at this point, pretty much, I would think everyone's going to hit. Right at the end. Sometimes you just got to do it. You think new Mario Kart will launch with Switch 2 or after? That is a good question. I could potentially see it as a launch title. I think looking back at the last few console releases for Nintendo, Mario Kart has not been far off from the launch of the console itself. I think well, let's take a look. Let's go back in time. Take a look at the last couple console launches here and Mario Kart release dates. Okay, we didn't get a vote on that one. So let's see. They're not generally a launch game, I don't think. Kart 64 was not, Super Mario Kart wasn't, Double Dash wasn't, DS wasn't, Wii wasn't, 7 wasn't, 8 wasn't, 8 Deluxe wasn't, Home Circuit doesn't really count. So they've never been a launch title. I think that would be an interesting hook, where the Switch 2 positions, you know, the first new home Mario Kart in a decade. And that would certainly be, I think, a good way to move units if it's ready. I don't know that it will be. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. How's that for a very non-committal answer? I do think if it's not there at launch, it's probably there within the first 6 to 9 months. Oh! Out of the red shell, too. They came prepared. They were not screwing around. I love that the music kicks in when you get onto that. God damn it! When you get onto that hang glider segment. Stop him in his tracks. I need the coins at this point. Boosting away from that boomerang. We love jumping over a shell like that. We love protecting ourselves. Couldn't get those out in time. Couldn't make that either. Oh! Oh, that's not off the track. I'll take that. It's a punishing lesson to learn, but we're going to learn it. Get that red shell going. At least that hit before the item block. Why did I do that there? Old gold Mario's getting pretty far ahead in these. Guess we're gonna have to be happy with another fourth. You will be right back, yes. So I don't know. What I was going for before that race was, it doesn't generally seem to be a launch title, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if it was, and if it wasn't, it would make a lot of sense for it to be there within the first 6 to 12 months of the console's release. That's generally, you know, one of the most foolproof ways to move units, is to get a Mario Kart onto the system early and often. And by often, I mean, you know, once in the life cycle of the console. Let's do some looking here. Mario Kart 7, for example, launched in early December of 2011. The 3DS went on sale February 26th of that year, so it was out within 12 months. Mario Kart 8 was, I think, kind of the laggard on that one in recent years. It came out, end of May 2014, and the Wii U launched late 2012. But the Wii U sort of software lineup and history, you know, the struggles there are reasonably well documented. Mario Kart Wii, let's see, came out in April of 2008. Well, see, that's another example. That the Wii launched late 2006, so that's about an 18-month gap. Mario Kart DS, November of 2005. The DS came out in November of 2004. Double Dash might be the worst offender there in terms of timing. But yeah, in recent releases and recent generations especially, it's really beneficial to have a kart out soon. That's my thinking. I would not, again, I would not be surprised if it launches with one. But I would also really expect it to be there within the first 12 months of the system's life, if it's not. I wonder what the value proposition is going to be if there isn't something like that. You know, with it being kind of already focused out of the gate on, hey, you can play your original Switch games on it. Is that enough? And would a lot of people and early adopters be coerced to upgrade strictly off of that? Or will they need some kind of killer app to get it in people's hands? I'm sort of thinking back to when the original Switch launched. Obviously, that had no issue really selling units, and Breath of the Wild, I think, was helpful there. And then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was out in pretty short order, right? You know, just within a couple of months of the console's launch. I remember basically using Breath of the Wild as a stopgap almost. Because I'm not a big Zelda guy myself, and I was just like, well, this will be what I really use the Switch for until it becomes a Mario Kart machine in like a month, and that's exactly what happened. So I wonder what the software lineup is going to look like on launch. That I think we're hearing more about in April, so we don't have a tremendously long time to wait for news. Enjoy that coin. That was great timing. Let's blow up Gold Mario if we can. And maybe we do. Now, we're using a tactic there. We hit the banana intentionally because the slowdown and the amount of time you're out of commission when you hit a banana is less than if you get stopped dead by the blue shell. So the intent there is to just sort of minimize the amount of time you're out of commission with the shell. Had I taken the blue shell shot, the gold Metal Mario probably would have caught up with me by the end of that one. So that was just tactical thinking and luck in the moment that probably secured that one. But that is an interesting example, I think, potentially, of skill coming in and making what would be just otherwise another, you know, normal lap 3, give up of the game because you got blue shelled, turning that into a little bit of a tactical advantage based on what's around you and securing the win as a result. So that's kind of fun. We like that. Okay, what are we thinking here? Give us a vote here in chat, and we will consider. Nice to just decompress a little bit. Good to be with all of you here. As a reminder, as we pick a track. I'm probably going to random out of this, honestly. As a reminder, if you are new to the channel or just joining us, we do have dice rolls going all night long. Give you a nice tease of what you could have if I could find the 20 here, and I do. We got dice rolls going all night long. Exclamation point D20 in the chat on either Twitch or YouTube will make us roll that D20 and then a supplemental die, depending on what you get on the left. Anything from making me make a fart noise to winning a $5 gift card to basically anywhere of your choice that I can buy and send to you via email. Change my shirt, do a funny accent, dab a bunch of times. The choice is the die roll, but you prompt it to happen. So get those exclamation point D20s coming. Be liberal with it. Anytime now, item. We snuck right through there. Yes, we did. Oh, no items. If you can't queue it automatic... Oh, double coin. The only time you can ever get double coin off of that is if there's too much lag in the room and the game can't generate an item in time. So see, I can't force it to give an item, so we're at a huge disadvantage there because I guess the lag on this room is so bad that for as long as we're in first place, we're going to get double coins. That person who disconnected is probably the reason for that. So see, I'm like mashing left trigger, which would normally queue up an item immediately. But because it's not working, I get stuck with coins. And it may be no matter what position I'm in, I get coins, because I cannot force it to give me one. And so we get double coins. No ability to guard against these things. It's going to be an uphill battle today. So we're in third. Okay, double mushroom. So it must default... Here's what I'm thinking. It must default to a certain item type depending on what position you're in. Right? So there it gave me double mushrooms in third, which I don't know is normally possible. I got the coin in second because, again, it couldn't generate anything for me. And I have no defense here, so... Again, can't pull it up. If I wanted to stop that red shell, if it was coming for me, I couldn't. I will hold on to that and hope that... I mean, I don't think they're having the same problem because I'm seeing bananas coming out and other players are getting items, so I'm the lucky one. And somehow we don't even need them, and we end up in first. Now, of course, it's going to take forever to give me that. How long will it take? Ooh, this is bad. That Bowser Jr. really put the stones to this one. Oh my god, look at this. It's not disconnecting the race. It's not communication erroring out. This happens very, very infrequently. I'll see this once a month, maybe this bad. We might get through a whole... It might have to get through an entire lap and finish everyone else that's not him to place. Yeah, there you go. So everyone that was still moving had to finish. That was really interesting. Normally, if there is some really catastrophic communication error, it just throws up that error, right? A communication error occurred, and that's it. Not this time. Oh, my pal's back there, Vinny. Nice to see you. We got a D20 going out. I will just throw down for Excite Bike Arena. This one's for Vinny. That is a 9, which means I got to change my shirt, so we can do that right quick before this match starts on Excite Bike Arena. Our Excite Bike for that. Quick and easy. As you requested. Good roll. How are we doing? Vinay. We got some kart for you tonight. Had some interesting ones come through already, so we're enjoying the time here. We were waxing existential about it tonight. Because with the Switch 2 reveal that just had... What the... Okay. With the Switch 2 reveal that just happened, we are realizing, and I've been getting a little existential crisis about it, that the time for Kart 8 Deluxe to be kind of culturally irrelevant is coming to an end. Probably sooner rather than later if Kart comes out, you know, within the next 6 to 12 months of the console's launch, whenever that is. So having put so much stock and so much of my own life into Kart 8, it's weird to kind of have it looming on the horizon where, you know, there will come a time fairly soon where that is no longer the case. Xerox is here too. Hey, we got folks coming through. I did speedrun that shirt change, you're right. Just for you all. You enjoy that. Can we speed past him here? Did he pull another banana there? Oh, I thought for sure I was gonna start busting down those defenses. He's too close, so we're gonna leave this banana out. Absorb every little goodie we can. That was close. You better not have another one back there. Doesn't matter, we are good. Another epic victory. Context. It was only a 6-person room. That's why. But no, it's odd to think about. You know, like I had been saying, and like we said a couple times tonight on the stream. So sorry if it's redundant if you've been watching. It's weird, especially the competitive context where, you know, pretty much every PAX I've gone to, period, I've done Kart 8 tournaments. Give us a vote here in chat as well for the track you want next. 1 is Mount Wario. 2 is Wario's Gold Mine. 3 is Toad Circuit. 4 is Random. But, you know, having had so much experience with this game and being so tied to it in a sort of competitive and capable context where it just makes me feel like a capable human being really good at using Twitch to get it in on time. Very smart. It's weird to now kind of be on the precipice of needing to now get good literally at a brand new kart, which I haven't had to do in a decade. So that is, tour does not count. Again, maybe it's a hot take, a spicy slice of salami, maybe not, but tour doesn't count. It's actually funny. The more I would play Tour back when it was reasonably new, the worse I would get at Kart 8 because they are so mechanically different from each other. So eventually I kind of had to stop if I had any intention of really staying kind of top shelf with Kart 8 because I was like, I have to decide. It's too hard to kind of context switch. But no, it is odd to sort of have that feeling of, oh, you know, Kart 8 will actually be going away at some point. Have you had that experience, chat, with any game that you've been very attached to over the years, especially in either a competitive or like multiplayer online context where you have to kind of come to grips with, oh, I've played this so much, it's such a big part of who I am and it's going away at some point? Because it's a very interesting set of emotions to have to kind of wrestle with, you know? That was aggressive. For some reason, it says you're playing Balatro according to Steam. Am I? Oh, I'm not paying attention. You got me distracted by thinking. I was thinking about Balatro. And then I fell off the map. Well, I had to make it competitive. We got to bring people closer. There we go. Maybe I don't have to worry about competitive. I tried to bait it into that banana, but I didn't get there. I definitely am not playing Balatro, so it's not even open on my Mac at the moment. So that's a bunch of bull honky. Okay. So was that. But you're gone. That's not super helpful. Trying to optimize the... Oh, God! That's what I'm talking about. The bombs... I say this all the time. The bombs change races. They really knocked me out of, like, first and second contention with that one, and that is annoying. Gotta get ahead of Banana Man. And there's always money in the banana stand. I tried to get out of the way. You fucker! Oh, that was perfectly timed, wasn't it? And I love when it crashes into the minecart. Oh, did we jump over them? We did. That was wonderful. Why is it saying I'm playing Balatro? Let's load up Steam. See what the problem is. It's not... Steam needs an update on my Mac. I can't even get into it right now. I was just at the local game store asking them if I could get on a list for a day one Switch 2. I have to imagine we're a ways away from that yet, because we're not even getting software details until April, right? So that's going to be interesting. So I'm loading up Steam just to make sure, and Balatro is absolutely not running. Lies! Lies and slander. Give us a vote here, chat, if you so please. And we did. Choco Mountain for Full Metal. Hello again. Twitch delay is like 1 second. Super live, baby. I might have... Oh, no, never mind. I thought I changed a setting to get it closer, but that's on my YouTube TV and not on my, not on Twitch, and it's Choco Mountain anyway. We got a D20 roll as well. Let's get a quick one in here for Full Metal. Jingle jangle. That is a 3, which means an animal noise, and you know the one that we love. Aflac! If I'm first on the list and I live a block away, that'll lock you in real nice. We'll get a D20 going after this. I wish there was a way I could roll it while I play. A virtual D20, I feel like, is not the same. And I don't like it as much. Because we did have that at one point. Like, I remember Justin and Teresa tested it out while we were going, where it would just roll for you. I don't like that as much. I like having the physical dice to roll. I like having the camera set up. There's just something more fun about it. You know, it's a little more real. It's maybe not as immediate, but it's more tangible. It's tactile. It's more fun for me, certainly. I'm making Chef Boyardee ravioli, so it's gonna be yum. What? Nothing says adulting in the finest way like Chef Boyardee raviolis. You know what I mean? It's just hot cuisine of the highest order. You know what's fun? I was just, thinking about PAX and how eventually we're going to have to change over to a new Mario Kart at those tournaments. Those conventions, like PAX, are a great opportunity to actually go sample some, like, hot cuisine and get a sense for a city's kind of hidden gem restaurants, which is always something I love doing, out in Boston, going to Philly for Unplugged. Now that we, regularly attend PAX West out in Seattle, especially because I'm not nearly as familiar with Seattle as the other cities. That's always a really fun aspect of the experience. And you get out of here. That's twice tonight. And we got the red shellin' back, too. Oh, we are just cruising. This was meant to be. Except for that part. We're going to hold... Oh, no. I let that bomb loose. That's not good. I was going to hold it, but we had more than enough distance there. So that's good. We're real. We're real, Morty. We're real. Let's do a dice roll for Xerox. Wow. That's an 11, which means it's joke time. You'd think that I'd have more jokes queued up than I actually do. Knowing that can get rolled in any time. My favorite one, I might have told this one, but Jeff Dunham in one of his earlier specials had, you know, a lot of jokes about the Prius, as everyone did when that car kind of came out. And they would joke that, you know, it was so like light and flimsy and stupid on the highway. You stick your hand out the window and the Prius will turn. I think it was like Ahmed the Dead Terrorist or something who made the joke. But having driven a Prius for 7 years, it is true. You stick your hand out the window and the Prius does turn. You don't even, that is your turn signal. It's like you're on a bike, but you're driving a Prius. So take that for what, yeah. It is, it's true. Let's give it some dolphin shoals here. How we doing, chat? How we feeling? Everyone feeling nice, doing good, staying healthy and well? There's flus out there. Yucky, gross stuff. Oh, yeah. Jose Jalapeno on a stick. I like Jeff Dunham. It's just that sort of everyman ventriloquism comedy that sometimes it's just nice to have on. A lot of fun characters in his repertoire over the decades, because he's been at it for quite a while, right? I remember some of his first specials were, what, the late 2000s? Arguing with Myself and a couple of those. Some real classics in there. Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, Peanut, Walter, Jose Jalapeno on a Stick. He was one of my favorites. Just because, of course, you know, how he says on a stick. Just scratches that itch some. We're pretty red shell happy back there. I'm going to get caught in the cruft before too long. What the hell was that? You need enough space to throw the red shell with the person in front of you. That was just a big steamy pile. Oh, no. I love the very chill, light jazz fusion remix on the winter version of the track, too. Appropriate, since it's like all of 5 degrees outside right now, Fahrenheit. I had to throw that backwards with timing, so that worked out very well. Son of a bitch! And the bomb in back? Don't! Ugh! Everyone's priorities are very skewed here. In my own estimation. We're hanging in, though. See how useful this will be. Potentially quite. We may have to defend last minute here against some intruders. Now, why would you throw that ahead of you? You can muck someone up behind you on your way out. It's like a parting gift in first place, you know. Bam, throw that finger at somebody. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Give us some more rolls. Give us some more stuff to do here, chat. We got all night, more or less. I mean, and by that I mean another probably solid hour. And me, since your boy has the commute in the morning. It's that's been interesting to settle into. The generally 80 to 85 minute commute. My car just rolled over 20,000 miles today. Actually, you gotta take a picture of the odometer when it hits a nice even number, right? So I caught it this morning at 20,000 exactly. For reference, I bought the car the end of March last year, so it's coming up on 10 months, and I bought it at about 8,000 miles. So we're gonna be, that would, to average like 15K a year, that would put me at about 23,000 miles, right? If I bought it at 8. So I'm right about on track to put it at about 15K a year on the car. And doing this 3-day week commute, it'll be more than that, most likely, because that will build in, my commute's about 65, 70 miles one way. So that's what, 130 miles, that's 390 per week, round up to 400, that's About 1,200 miles a month without, like, additional trips that I would take on the weekends. Of which there are many, and I usually drive, so... we're looking at potentially well over 15K next year. Car ownership is... you know, if you're going to be in it that much, you really owe it to yourself to get something that you love, and thankfully I do love my car a lot. The realities of life and transportation, right? I know at least some of you out there don't have cars at all, right? Or aren't in them nearly as much as I am. So it's just interesting how that shakes out and where the priorities ultimately kind of have to be depending on where you are and what you need out of it. Our buddy's coming. Almost would have rathered the red shell there. Well, there would have been more than one anyway. Jahani. That is just banana hell. Look at that. We hit him! Oh. The tree bat. Jonathan. We're going to hold the coin, of course, because we need to guarantee a defensive item here. Love this track. Love this music. Love me pals. Love me red shells. Love that it hits him. And that'll take out his red shell, too, because he was dragging it. So that is ideal for us. We're going to cut this tight. And that's a GG, bro. Hey. Well done. Lovely to do it. Nice to see ya. Bob's your uncle, etc. Very, very good. Let's have a drinky poo to celebrate that one. Mm. Steve! What a wonderful surprise to have both Steves at once. You ever had both Steves at once? That sounds dirty. Don't answer that. This is a family show where we swear and curse a bunch. I already made that joke tonight. You can repeat, you know, once per hour. Viewers trickle in and out. Probably don't have the whole live stream queued up. Or maybe you do. Who's to say? Thank you for your support. Y'all probably want an update on the next review coming, huh? I haven't updated the Discord in a while, so I'm actually going to go in and do that maybe now while we're streaming here tonight. It's probably going to be another week, I'm guessing, until that's really done. I was targeting end of January to have that out, and that's probably what we're bumping up against. With any luck, I will have it recorded and fully filmed by Friday. The script's mostly done. I have most of the recording, like the footage, done as well. So I would have to do the on-camera bits and the remainder of the gameplay capture before we go into editing. So my guess is we do have some weekend plans this weekend across Saturday and Sunday. So if I can get everything recorded by Friday, I'll push editing through the next couple of days and potentially maybe have it out in time for the next stream next week. Maybe. But it is still in progress. And for what it's worth, I don't remember anyone successfully guessing the console, let alone the game. So that's a fun mystery that's still out there. I heard some really good guesses, which I guess I'm confirming are not correct, accidentally. Oh, he almost clipped that. Oh, no. I was not getting that item out in time. Johnny and his red shells are a problem here tonight. He went flying. Oh, we almost sniped him. Enough with the red shells. Okay. I was like, that's good. There's nothing I can really... Oh. Oh, he's got the horn. Well, we gotta break through that. It's eternally the problem with second. You have to try to bust through first place defenses. Did he pop the horn? Where did that horn go? Unless it got booed, maybe. You gotta get him with time to spare here. He did not have 2 defensive items, which means we can sneak right on in at the end. And we got him. Now that is Mario Kart. And it was just us jockeying there, so that's pretty good. Bam. Oh, bam. All right, give us some more D20s here, chat. Give us some hot goss to discuss, whatever you want going on here. We talked Switch 2. We talked some existential crisis about losing the game eventually that I've just kind of tethered so much of myself to. What I kind of likened it to earlier in the stream was... Now, I think Xerox said, what, Titanfall 1 was one game like that, where you're just so attached to it. I would love to do like a Titanfall throwback night. That would be so much fun. Titanfall 1 is offline, if I remember correctly, right? Oh, no. If you're on Xbox, Titanfall 1 is alive and well in attrition. Is that true? See, now I'm looking it up. The original Titanfall joins Titanfall 2 on Steam. Well, you can still buy... You can still get the original Titanfall. So it seems like it is still available, yeah? "10 years on. That would be a fun one, though, to kind of have a Titanfall throwback night. I would love to play through the campaign on stream, actually. It is, unironically, I believe, one of the best single-player campaigns of any shooter of its generation. I truly do believe that, and I always have. And it would be a lot of fun, too, because it's not a super long campaign, right? I think in like an episode or two, we could probably get it done. That would be fun. Oh, you said you were just talking about Titanfall 1 as being that game that you were super attached to and was kind of lost to time. Titanfall isn't live anymore. They killed it rather than fix the hacker problem. On Xbox too? When did that happen? I was just on Reddit. Well, I guess those posts were a few months old. Saying that it was still available. Maybe not. Well, 2 still is, right? But it's not the same. Yeah, well, that does happen. Good old sequel. Had to dump the bomb. Oh, we got him! So the red shell didn't trigger it? Because Yoshi got clapped by the bomb. I missed the smart pistol, too. That was the bee's knees. Oh, my buddy's coming. My pal's back. At some point, you consider, like, is falling off a better alternative. And here comes Johnny, of course. Out on my heels all game. Maybe we get the mushroom and zip past him, but he's got the mushroom, so no. He gets to abuse the shortcut, and he's in first. What gives you the right? Ugh. In a sense, I've always sort of been, like, low-key a little annoyed with Apex Legends because it did so well. That basically became Respawn's entire MO, right? So I guess there were plans for a Titanfall 3, like, at some point, right? And Apex just kind of became what Respawn was working on, and they shelved Titanfall 3 as a result. All right, so if I go into Titanfall 2... It's such a shame that it didn't do well, given when it released, and that was entirely on EA. A real shame. We have a D20 coming out from Full Metal. We will do it. Sequel, yeah. Yeah, the game's lead developer, Drew McCoy, said there are some people who think there are too many Battle Royale games or it's a fad. The world thinks we're making Titanfall 3, and we're not. This is what we're making. With the focus on Apex Legends, the team halted the development of a new Titanfall game. And so, unfortunately, that is sort of the reality of it, where Apex Legends took priority. And rightfully so, you know, that's your business decision, right? It's done very well for Respawn. And no Titanfall as a result. Ooh. Oh, love that. Glad Squeaky Clean Sprint's getting some mileage tonight. Haven't seen it in a while. Missed the turbo on that. Gotta swap quick, and I know she's got the red shell behind me. That's why we get it out quickly. Okay. Keep it going. Nice timing on that. The blooper perfectly done to coincide with the water so we can get rid of it. We love that for us. Whoa! That was a banana. Did not want to see that. Oh! Oh, no. We got Daisy with it, though. That's all that matters. And all the coins get us up to speed really quickly. That was about as good as that was going to get. Sneak right on up here. Beautifully done. We dodged the shell as a result, and now the game forgot how to item again. So that's fun. Let's hold on to this. If it does remember, it'll give us something. This sucks. Ugh. So we're just going to get coins for the rest of the race since the game... Someone's lagging out or the connection's bad. Again. So again, I'm like mashing left trigger, not getting any items. And it's going to give me double coin for the rest of the race. No! Oh, we're good. Okay. Usually that's like the kiss of death. There's so many different ways that glider section can go. It's amazing how dense that just little section of track is, because there's like 10 different bottles and things you can track off of. There was an entirely separate, you know, section up on the top that you can get up where the double item boxes were that I did on lap start of lap 3. Surprisingly dense and interesting as a track, Squeaky Clean Sprint is. One of the best things to come over from Tour, and really, really intelligently thought out. Very, very fun. Dynamic in that sense. Love it. People thought the pistol was cheap, but it required actual skill, but it was removed due to whiny campers. Oh, every race is an opportunity for Baby Park. We know this. I owe you a dice roll as well, don't I? Here's Full Metal's dice roll. That is a 9, which means we're changing shirts. Oh, we're changing back. Vinny had us doing one earlier, and we speed ran that. Yes, we did. Had to be done. The only pistol I need is the Halo 1 M60. That is the only pistol anyone needs, to be totally fair. Person in the back with a blue shell looking at... Better stop that vehicle! Of course. Make my life miserable. That's the Mario Kart way. Let's talk the new one. There, for the first time in a decade, is a new home Mario Kart on the horizon. We don't count Home Circuit. No one does. Did you play it? No, no one played it. What are you looking forward to in the new Mario Kart? We know precious little about it, aside from maybe an item that was teased. Donkey Kong got a complete dopey redesign that matches the movie Donkey Kong, more or less. Jury's out on that. And if the track design is to be believed, at least some of the tracks seem like they'll support up to 24 simultaneous players, which it's hard to keep up with 12 in this game a lot of the time. That's a rarity. I don't know how 24 is going to work. That is a level of chaos that I don't know I can physically comprehend. Imagine, like, taking as ridiculous a race, and all of you have been here. Imagine the most ridiculous and most chaotic and most frustrating race you've ever encountered in Kart 8 and doubling it. Son of a bitch. Johnny and his red shells. I don't know how helpful this is. I don't know. It's going to be... I have to assume it's maybe in, like, explicit modes or on explicit tracks, because I don't know of many, like, retro tracks that they'll put in here. Anything from this game or earlier that could support 24 players. A lot of them are even pretty chaotic with 12. Or they would need really, really substantial redesigns for that to work. Well, what are you hoping for, if anything, in the new Mario Kart? Give us a wish list. I have some thoughts, which I will share once I don't have to think about racing here. Donut Plains 4. Oh, yes. How blessed we will be with Donut Plains 4. It's nice when our buddy has someone else on the radar instead of me. And that'll do. Moo Moo Meadows 2. Moo Moo Valley. More just cows. Cow Cup. All cow. Oops, all cows. That's the way. I'm personally hoping, and I don't know how they don't do this, because it would make redesigning 8's tracks an actual impossible task, I think. I really hope for anti-gravity to remain a front and center mechanic of the game. I think it is absolutely one of the amazing differentiating features of Mario Kart 8 and Kart 8 Deluxe. I was always really disappointed that most of the booster course pass up until the last couple of waves mostly ignored the anti-gravity mechanic, and I truly do believe it is the best step forward I think that Kart has ever had, mechanically speaking. So I really, really hope that remains in the equation, which, again, if it doesn't, how the hell do you make Electrodrome? How the hell do you make, you know, Mario Circuit with its kind of torus figure 8? substantial redesigns if that's the case. Some tracks are entirely in anti-gravity. It's I don't know. So I hope they still continue to lean into that. I didn't see any indication of it in the track that they teased in the hardware reveal, where it was basically Radiator Springs from Cars. It's just a flat track through the desert, you know, whatever. Make Reggie a playable character. That would be amazing. And obviously they're not afraid of breaking the immersion, since we have these tracks from Tour, you know, that mirror real-world places and are so different artistically from the rest of the tracks in the game. Why not just throw Reggie in there? Iwata at this point. Miyamoto. Those rumors of it kind of turning into Nintendo Kart, kind of like Smash Bros. Did. Unfounded, ultimately, I think. But, hey, if you're going to do it, really do it. What's Luigi up to back there? All these red shells. Did you really need? And he's got another one. The joke of it all is the fact that you can, in theory, get 4 red shells in second place as your item drops. It's just bonkers to me. I will take this setup, though, going into lap 3. If I can stay on the track. Update, I put hot sauce in the ravioli mix. Smart. Only smart decisions today. That's what we need. Link is still on our butts, but I think we're going to lock this in. And that's that. Ugh. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Again, having been so locked into this one for so long, any change, there's naturally going to be a little bit of resistance to. It is sort of familiarity at this point because I'm so conditioned to play and appreciate Kart 8 for what it is and how it is today. But as far as I'm concerned, this is about as perfectly pitched a casual racer like this has ever been. You know, if we were to do a kind of review on it, which I probably would at some point, it's an easy 5 Gloobies out of 5 because this is, in my opinion, one of the best racing games of this type ever released, if not the absolute best. It has the wealth of content now to match with the Booster Course Pass. Whatever you think of the quality of those tracks, especially the first couple of waves, the amount of content you got and the value proposition there is insane. You know, the corrected and updated battle mode that 8 Deluxe brought in, which was the really only true weak point of the original release on Wii U, really cleared it up and made it the most appealing package of this type that I think has potentially ever existed. Now, obviously, I'm super biased, so I would like to hear other people's thoughts, you know, in the chat. If you have other kind of views on Kart 8 coming from, you know, someone who hasn't put like 1,000,000 hours into it, that would be interesting. But I wonder how they will ultimately try to improve on what I believe has been ironed out to be a pitch-perfect formula and pitch-perfect execution of this type of game. I really struggle to think of ways that you could improve on Kart 8, aside from updated visuals and tweaking, you know, a mechanic here or two. It's so wonderfully put together. And I should also qualify that where it's sort of in ways that, you know, don't just kind of go back to the well, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people have been pushing for the return of kind of 2 racers per kart, like in Double Dash. I don't know that we really want to plumb old games for new ideas in that sense. Would that be interesting and fun to see? Yeah, probably. Is that something I really want to see the franchise do? Not really. I just want to get far enough ahead to put me there. And it did. Unfortunate. I don't think I can take the leaf shortcut now. Do you really have to layer it on so thick? Where was that heading? Did he try the shortcut? Bruh. Interesting choice. Unless he's intentionally positioning himself to be in second and watch me just flop around with coins. I don't know. Yeah, see? Just making my life extra spicy. Oh, and my friend is back. Let's time this a little better, maybe. Not really. Did it get him? No. Come on, Johnny. He was just biding his time. You gotta pop that mushroom if you wanna. You want to live. That'll do it. Pow, 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 pow. Sorry, Johnny. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, man. I got about half an hour left in us tonight, I think, chat, so you're aware of what's going on. I think it's a drink time. Here's to that. Give us a vote if you're so inclined. 1 is Snowland. We love a good Snowland. 2 is Toad's Turnpike. 3 is DK Mountain. 4 is Random. Let's get a D20 going for Full Metal. Why not? And a vote for Toad's Turnpike as well. In the background. Bye. That's a 5. And that's a funny face. You want a funny face. You got a funny face. Huh? Huh? That made my contacts go wonky. That was a... We're back. We're good. Also, of course, always taking suggestions for other dice rolls that you find funny or useful or helpful or interesting. You know, we don't want that list to stay static forever necessarily. So if there's ways you think it could be improved or made more fun, always open to that. We like to kind of cue them where, you know, 1, 2, 3 are less consequential ones or less extreme ones, and then the higher up the number that we roll, the more consequential it sort of is in terms of impact to me or impact to you. Real early on, I had an idea. Obviously, it would not be conducive to engagement, but having one where, like, if you roll a 1... the stream automatically ends. So, you know, without another word, without acknowledging it, you just see the 1 come up on screen and the stream is over. We have another D20 from Fort. We will do that in just a moment. Let's blockade somebody going for the sideline. And I think we got someone. That's fun. The fun part, you can just mill through these item boxes. Always risky going for those boost ramps. Especially on these kinds of turns. I think I got it. Unless it's smacked into a car, which does happen a lot. Here's what I'm going to do here. Normally I don't go up on the wall, but we get the boost pads, so we can get back in the action quickly. And in that case, it minimizes the impact that the blue shell has on us, and you can see we're right back getting fucked, so... Oh, Steve. You scamp. Oh, Johnny's got his red shells. Color me shocked. Tell me I took it out. The single coins are gonna be super helpful here. Where are they coming from? He had no such thing. Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, please. God damn it, Johnny. Disgusting. I had Pokeball or Pokeball chicken and waffles. As per the hypocritic pet policy, you need to add a Peach-related dice roll. I'm peeping the Discord for proof here. One moment. And all of you can do the same. So I will do Fort's D20 roll here. There it goes. And we have a 7, which is a drink up, which I always appreciate. Thank you for that. Oh, come on. Of course, it's the best one. That should be a death roll. 3 1s, the stream ends. I kind of like that. Oh, 3 in a row. I would even be a little more gentle to say 3 1s across the whole stream and it just ends. Because 3 1s in a row is pretty conceivably impossible in practice. But 3 1s across an entire stream, I think that would absolutely be relevant. Or even like a tack on, where we roll like a secondary die, like a D6 or a D12, and if we get a 1 on that, then the stream ends. Or 3 6s, that's funny. That could work too. Killing the stream should be reserved for, and I voiced that to do. There you go. We can spam D20s until stream ends. Permission to go nuts with it. Permission to come aboard, Captain. Check him out. Chaos. And a chaos we like to inspire here. Roll a 1, then flip a coin. If heads, then roll a d4. It just starts a train of... You know what? 1 could turn into something like a chaos train, where it sets off a whole bunch of other rolls that have consequences. That's kind of a fun idea. What if you ran the whole stream like a D&D session? I mean, ultimately, that was kind of the goal in a sense with it, where a lot of it is dictated by the rolls, depending on how frequent they are. But there's a lot of room for that mechanic to improve, and I really want it to be super robust. So that's absolutely been something on my radar. Just takes a while to think about and kind of put together in practice. I'd have to... Yeah, but it would be fun to think about, like, how would that go? I have to hold on to this because he's so far back. And now I don't really have to. Too much work. Hold on, there's a whole... I'm still front running after that. That is crazy. Probably too far ahead for them to get anything other than like stars and bullet bills and start fighting each other. Wonderfully done. Artichoke on D's nuts. We've got quotes. They hide, but they are in there. That's right. I do like the idea of the chaos train though, where you roll a 1 and then it sets off all these different kind of combinations of things, where actually I could see it where you roll a 1, you know, for example, and then I got to do like a D4 and a D6, and then a combination of those things is what I ultimately have to do. So everything from 1 to 4 on the D4 means something, everything from the 1 to 6 on the D6 means something, or larger die, you know, a D6 and a D12 just to maximize the chaos, and then we go, you know, full chaos train on it. That would be fun. Please get a bowl of nuts and put an artichoke onto the nut. Oh no. Fort Shadow is speed. Waluigi Stadium Locked in. I milk the mayonnaise machine like crazy. Yes, we do. Oh, good times. I like the Chaos Train idea. Let me think about how I'm gonna do that, because that'll almost. I almost want that to be a separate screen of like a different background. Some effects go on when the Chaos Train starts. That would be fun. I also want to add. I think we posted about this in the Discord before. I want to do advantage rolls as well. And I think what I kind of settled on, it would be more work for me, and it's not as immediately obvious on screen. But I think I would want to do it such that every time you roll, whatever the D20 roll is gets added to like your overall point total for the night. And once you hit a certain point threshold, you can spend, I don't know, let's say 50 points and roll with advantage. In this case, normally it would be you roll 2 D20 and you take the higher result. But to make it a little more fun, I think I would have it be something like roll 2 D20s and you get to pick the result. So you get to choose which of the 2 D20s that I ultimately use on camera. And then if you want, you know, you end up queuing them up and you have maybe like 150 points queued up and you have 3 advantage rolls in a row. It gives you a fair bit of control over what ultimately happens. And that would be fun, I think. Oh, you bastard. No way. I cocked that up pretty good. I just want to get away from that bomb. Someone's got the goods behind me and I don't like it. Oh, the friends came knocking. Now we got a super horn in first. And now we don't. Oh! Wonderfully timed. And all those bullet bitches can take their rightful place. Oh, it's like, did he get stopped on? Oh, maybe he did. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. How did farming go last time? Did you save the cheerleader? We did. We saved the world. We saved all the chickens. We might have gotten more chickens. Everyone is good. And it wasn't I think it was only like an hour and a half. So not a ton of activity. A lot of mining, a lot of farming, a lot of just general shenanigans. So you didn't miss much. And hopefully you'll be back next Thursday. We'll do it again. We may even have Sarah join us for the episode. She was asking if it was this week. I think she's itching to get a little Stardew time in with everybody. I fished and then passed out in my bed because I didn't click it while I cleaned up puppy poo. That'll do it. Right, yeah. Full Metal's got a new pupper named Peaches, and it's adorable. Pics posted in the pets channel, as is required by law. And I'm actually going in there now. The vote. Oh, we're randoming out of these. Okay. I will try to make it more obvious. I see in your bed. I'll see you in your bed next week then. You better. Okay. Pets and animals. Oh. Good Peaches. We have a lot of pets going around. We got Cheese. We got Nugget. We got Michi from Fort. We got Peaches. I should put up a shot of Hunter, right? My family's golden retriever, because I don't know that I ever have. I'll find a good shot or two maybe of Hunter and put him up in the stream channel as well. A lot of hippo pets of our regulars. This is such a tight turn coming off of that jump, but man, we do it. It's actually a pretty tricky layout and track for being a tour track. It really does a lot with the concept. And some, obviously not all tour tracks are created equal. I saw that coming and did nothing about it. mean... How? Fucking how? Oh, man. You know, it's one of those no coin kind of races. Ugh. Oh, God. That went very poorly. I still make a lot of really obvious unforced errors on a lot of these later booster course packs tracks, just because you don't have the experience that you do with 10 years of the Electrodrome, for example. So it does happen more often than you'd care to admit. Now that we should probably wait until after the boost pads to launch, but he's got protective items anyway. So in theory, you really want to wait until the last item box to deploy it, but we're kind of out of item boxes, huh? I got hit anyway! That almost cost a second. Oh my God. I have like 4 pets. My apartment is a zoo. Hopefully I can have a fish tank so I can have pet crabs. Oh my God. So you can raise giant enemy crabs for massive damage. That's the only reasonable course of action. I had a lot of hermit crabs in my... And your apartment complex is good with having that many pets? Every race is an opportunity for baby park. I know that at least in every complex that I've lived in, I've never had a pet myself. It's always, you know, I've gone home to visit like the family pet. And Sarah's quite allergic to dogs. And I'm very allergic to cats. So that is a difficult it's a difficult challenge. But I've never been at a complex that allowed more than one like sizable pet. Like one dog, one maybe 2 cats, and that is it. All my pets are under 10 pounds. Okay, there you go. Little bebe-boos. I will absolutely name a crab massive damage. You better. Or you have 2 crabs, massive in damage. That's the appropriate way to do it, I think. Sounds like you guys need to get Cheese the fish. If we did have a fish, I'd absolutely name it Cheese Board. That's just the way. I did have, through most of my life actually, because we had him for almost 20 years, we had a cockatiel, a bird that was named Chipper. He was my bestest buddy. He was my alarm clock in the morning for college, especially because I lived with my grandma in college and Chipper lived there. He was my alarm clock in college. I whistle a lot, which you've probably seen and picked up on stream here and there, but I whistle a lot. And the bird would always whistle back to me, and I would teach it songs. So Chipper would repeat songs, and then, you know, throughout the day, just like queue up and start whistling and singing on his own accord, stuff that I've sung around the house. So we would harmonize, and it was fun. And yeah, Chipper died, I think, at about 18 or 19 years old. Love that bird so much. I don't know if I have pictures of him because he's been gone now probably right before we got Hunter, and Hunter's 6 right now. So it's been a long time. See if I can dig up any pictures. Grandma B was your wingman during college. She was, you know. Well, let's since we're getting existential, we'll talk about that. Sneakers was the best bird. That's, I should mention too, whenever I forget when you named him that, but one of the first times that M came over and saw the bird, actually probably at my parents' house before I moved down with my grandma. Just the name shifted from Chipper to Sneakers. I don't know where it came from, but she would come into the house and just be like, oh, Sneakers! Hello, Sneakers! Because Chipper would start, you know, squawking and chirping at whoever would be in the house. So it was AKA sneakers. That is true. Yeah, no, she was. So I went to, high school and grade school and college all in the same kind of general area out in Scranton. And went to the University of Scranton for my undergrad and graduate degrees. My grandma lives and lived for since the late 50s or early 60s. I mean, she lived in Scranton her whole life, but she lived in her house in the one neighborhood in Scranton probably since the late 50s, early 60s. So the last, probably 50, 60 years of her life was in that house. And it was so much closer to school than my parents' house was. So I was like, oh, well, this makes sense. I can also be there because she was getting older, even though she lived to 99. She liked having people around in the house, so I was always there because that saved me room and board. So it saved me, 10, 15 grand a year. So it just worked out really well where I was present for her, so she wasn't as nervous kind of moving around the house, and there was someone usually home. So it made her feel safer. Obviously, it saved me a ton of money, and we got to hang out all the time, and I loved her to death. She was my second mom, to her dying day, more or less. And she was just such an influential presence in my life. Miss her terribly every day. It's been a little over 2 years since she passed away at the ripe old age of 99. They truly don't make them like they used to. She was about 9 months shy of her 100th birthday. And she would always tell us, too, where she had no intention of hitting 100, and she actively kind of rooted against it. She was like, I'm not hitting 100. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be 100. That's too old. And lo and behold, she did not. Yeah, we called her Ma. Nana was my grandma on my dad's side, and Ma was my grandma on my mom's side. And she was the best. It has, I will say, made the holiday season much, much harder than it ever was. And it's been hard for the past few years because in 2017, my dad passed away unexpectedly. And that was like 2 weeks before Christmas, which is not fun no matter your age. Ooh, avoid the chaos. Did he get hit by that? Wow. So the holidays are tough. And especially so with, us still being... I knocked the dice cam. Is it okay? It is. I goofed. You messed me up. Where was this pointed? There. I was going to do a sample roll for posterity here. Yeah. Oh, fine. Yeah, so it's challenging, but I forget what. Oh, we were on that because of Chipper, but Chipper was there, and it was just a nice little core group. It was me, Ma, and Chipper, and we made our way through all of college. And let's see, Hunter's 6 in January, so we got him 2018, which means Chipper died late 2017. So there's your timeline. Love me, bird. Love me, dog. And yeah, it is really tough because it's all in her house too. And all of her stuff is still there. Like, we really have done more or less nothing with her house since she passed. Like, all her furniture is still in place. Her closet and all her stuff is pretty much exactly where we left it in her room. And we don't really touch it. So it is... And her presence is very much still there. Not to get too, sad sack about it. But it's a hard thing when someone, that close to you ultimately does go, and there's still such a big presence in those places. Like, my mom and my mom still lives in that house, and my brother is kind of there part-time. He comes home during the 3 days a week he's off. So it's hard, and it's one of those real adulting challenges that you don't really think about if you're lucky enough to keep your parents and your relatives into your kind of older age. So that's, since we were getting existential about Kart not being a thing, or Kart 8 anyway, change is hard. Change is a tricky thing. Nicely done with that shortcut. Who's that far ahead? Wiggler? Okay. I hate these Wave 1 and Wave 2 tracks because I swear to God the collision model is just different enough to make it feel weird and have these jumps feel really awkward and not as seamless as they are in the other waves and in the base game. It's just, it's something so funky about Wave 1 and Wave 2. I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it, and it's very frustrating. Skill issue. Mind your business. You mind your business. I love dropping bananas right on where you land off of a ramp or a trick like that, because you can't avoid it. If you're on that path, you're on a collision course with it no matter what. And I love doing that. You kind of bait them into it, especially when you know certain lines that people traditionally take through a piece of the track that has a ramp at the end, so you know how they're kind of positioning and angling themselves. You can play with that a little bit and drop the banana right in there. So, like, for example, that jump, you know they're going to align themselves going straight onto the double item box to go into the last couple turns. You drop the banana right in front. So it doesn't even have to be directly in front of the item box. You drop it right where they come off of the trick, and they can't avoid it. So that's really fun. Yoshi's Island. Okay. Mario Kart. I'm now imagining your college life being exactly like Grandma's Boy, and you can't change my mind, nor will I. You can have that as your headcanon if you wish. Mario Kart 8 will still be around for years, though, right? I would be shocked if they sunset it right as 9 came out. Yes, I can't imagine 8 is going anywhere. It has a base of 50, 60 million people who've bought this game, and it still sells, you know, in the 7 figures per year. It's still, I think, one of the top-selling games on the Switch month to month. So it's not going anywhere. And even, you know, if they were pushing the new one really aggressively, again, assumedly within 12 months of Switch 2 launching, you are still going to have tens of millions of players who will not be able to get their hands on a Switch 2 and the new Mario Kart, either because of a lack of inventory or they can't afford it, or both. So, yes, it would be a massive mistake and the most, like, ill-advised thing Nintendo could do to just immediately shut down Kart 8 just because Kart 9 is available. And because Switch 1 games are backwards compatible with Switch 2, I would imagine that Kart 8 is still going to have a really long and successful life through the Switch 2's life cycle. My point that makes me kind of sad about it is more so it kind of going away as the more in vogue Mario Kart, if that makes sense. Like, tournaments will move over to the new Mario Kart. The kind of public consciousness will be assumedly more focused on that one. So Kart 8 will just kind of not be as present as it currently kind of is. And it's hard to argue that it's not, again, because even if you're not as kind of obsessed with it as I am, it's still one of the top-selling games on the Switch. So, I mean, it still gets a ton of attention and is one of the de facto games on the console, has been since, you know, a month after the Switch came out. So it's just mostly weird from that perspective to think about it kind of having a shelf life, and that's sort of what I've been bemoaning since the stream started and since the Switch 2 kind of made it official that a new cart is on the way. No, it is definitely not going anywhere. And thank God for that, because if it did just kind of immediately shut off, we'd have some serious soul searching to do. Oh, I didn't even know there was a ledge there. There you go. Learn something new every day. Especially with this game. There's always some funky secret or dumb detail that I'm uncovering. And that's fun. And you look at the, you know, Kart Across Time, too. Just even recently, Mario Kart 7 stayed active for a very long time after Kart 8 was released. Not on the same console, but still. The original Mario Kart 8 was active, you know, up until the end of the Wii U as an entertainment product, meaning the online services. So, yeah, Kart 8 Deluxe, I can't imagine is going anywhere anytime soon. I wonder, too, because Kart 8 and like the original Splatoon and a lot of those first-party games from Nintendo lasted through the Wii U's online service shutting down entirely. So unless they intentionally decide to shut off 8 Deluxe to make room for Mario Kart 9, which they may do, you know, Kart 8 Deluxe could persist all the way through the Switch 2's life cycle as well. It's entirely possible that it does. I imagine they're going to use the same kind of underlying infrastructure since they're so heavily based on each other. Trash Track. Not high up on my list. We all know this. So I am going to be curious how that plays out. I'm rolling back and starting to think of instances where you've had multiple instances of the same IP playable on one console. Now, consoles traditionally wouldn't get more than one Mario Kart, so I think this will be the first time that carts are coexisting on the same platform. Meaning you'll have 8 Deluxe and whatever the new one is playable on the same Switch 2. Splatoon is definitely an example where, and I'm talking in a multiplayer context, but Zelda as well, where Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are on the same console. And also a rarity. You don't often get more than one Zelda game per console, but I'm definitely thinking in the vein of Splatoon, because you have Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3 both on the Switch. And if I recall correctly, obviously it hasn't gotten new updates in years, but Splatoon 2 is still very much playable on, you know, online multiplayer services. So I would think, following in the same mold, you know, Kart 8 Deluxe will stay up alongside whatever the new kart is. Now, we don't know that for sure. Again, Nintendo may decide to shut it off prematurely to make room for the new one, but I think that would be a really big mistake, because again, you have 60 million copies out there. Why burn that? Especially if it keeps people engaged. You know, the whole angle that Reggie took when he was, you know, CEO of Nintendo of America was that you're competing for people's time. And it's not like Call of Duty where you just kind of shuffle people onto the next one every year and shut down the online service in like 3 years. Whoa. You're competing for people's time. You're competing for their eyeballs and their engagement with your product. So it obviously behooves you, that's just funny, to have, you know, Kart 8 going strong for as long as possible, because the install base for it is absolutely fucking massive. So we're just theory crafting and doom scrolling here a little bit in our own heads, but it's fun to think about these kinds of things because you don't really know how it's going to play out. Nintendo's not one to make conventional decisions, and they go against the grain all the time. So it's hard to really predict how some of these things will go. I get ahead of Yosh. Oh, we ate each other's items. That's interesting. And he's out in first. Can we take advantage of that? Maybe. Whee! That's the first time I think I've ever taken that so sharply, I didn't go anywhere. That's kind of funny. That's not as funny. Not again, and we're off the track. Okay, great. At least it's generous with the spot drop. No, you don't. That'll work. Let's get a D20 going. For Full Metal. That is an 8. And I gotta hit that gritty. And you know your boy's gonna. Hold up now. Hold on now. We hitting that gritty. We going this way. Sorry, not sorry. We're overriding you on that one. we see Wii U Rainbow Road, we click on Wii U Rainbow Road. And yeah, no, I mean, I know there's a lot of instances of multiple, like Xerox is saying, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I'm talking strictly in that kind of multiplayer context, I think, where you don't often have Nintendo games with a full-on multiplayer online functionality sharing the same console. So how will they coexist was the question. And if Splatoon is any indication, they will coexist just fine. And we got our dojo. Let's do it. If Splatoon, of all things, stays up and is somewhat active, considering that's one where you very much kind of move on to the next one. A little more iterative, like a traditional shooter, or something like Madden. If that stays up and remains accessible for so many years, I would expect Mario Kart 2, of all things. What's your stance on more IP entering Mario Kart? I'm all for it. Make it Smash Kart, Nintendo Kart. I have actually mixed opinions on that. I probably should have tossed that when he was in the air. No! We got off easy there. It never ceases to amaze me how there is always a red shell around the corner. Wherever I am on the map, where it doesn't matter who's behind me, there's always a red shell. Tossing that. Fucking exactly. Where are they coming from? Who has them all? Why are they appearing? I'll let them do their thing. That's a nice one. Oh, snipe! Sometimes you just feel good about a banana drop like that, and that was a nice one. We can actually take this shortcut in the middle. Not to much success, but... the coin in back is bold. That's not nice. Lucky that happened. Son of a bitch! It was a red shell, too! I'm gonna scream. Alright, well, his buddy's coming. You got a lot of mileage out of that bullet, my friend. We just clipped him on that. Did I steal their item? Maybe. We've got double mushrooms coming into this, so I'm excited. I'm gonna hold on to it, I think. Maybe a bad idea. I want to be able to maximize this jump here. Ooh. And rightfully so. That was close. I don't often misjudge that jump that much, but that was a close one. And here we are, baby. In the dojo, you don't mess with me. Rainbow Road, my house, my street. I love this level, Rainbow Street. Back to Dinosaur Island for me. I don't know how I feel about, like, Smash Kart. I like having it kind of self-contained within that Mario-esque world, and obviously it extends beyond that a little bit now with Link and with Animal Crossing, and it kind of being inoffensive in that sense. Honestly, that one was a good one to go out on. So I'm gonna back out here just so we can talk amongst ourselves for a brief moment. I'm sorry, I took your random away. I didn't mean to do that. But no, I don't know how I feel about it. It may be advantageous if it continues to grow the user base and turns into something like Smash, and if there is the expectation that the series will continue to grow and reach new players and incorporate different communities, that may ultimately need to be the route that they take, right? And again, that's where I'm curious to see where they're going to take the franchise next, because again, from my perspective, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is pitched absolutely perfectly There is not a single thing other than like some serious nipping and tucking in like the item distribution, for example, and getting really in the weeds on the design to make 8 better. I truly think it has peaked. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do next that doesn't make it feel like a regression. I really, really disagree with a lot of the gameplay decisions that Tour made. Now, obviously, that's more geared toward a mobile-first experience and a community. But I hate the frenzy ability. I hate that it's sort of more structured around point chaining and combo chaining than it is actual racing. And it's very chaotic with the items because you can have up to 3 at once and how it all just kind of spills out. Obviously, it's not meant to be as serious. Nor is Kart, honestly. You know, that's us making it serious. Taking something that is built to be a hyper-casual sort of experience and crafting competitiveness around it. Which Nintendo encourages, to be fair, because there are Mario Kart 8 invitationals regularly at events like PAX. There are online tournaments all the time. The same with Splatoon. So, and obviously the same with Smash. It's one of the most casual fighting games out there, and yet the competitive community around Smash is one of the most fervent of any fighting game that exists. So I think that's really interesting. Completely aerial sections. I would love that. I mean, we have courses that are entirely anti-gravity in Kart. Why not entirely aerial? Makes perfect sense to me. Entirely underwater. Take the mechanic and really juice it, you know? Fort says, let's do your dice roll first, Xerox, before we get into what Fort is saying here. That's an 8 again. Oh, I gotta hit that gritty again. I don't want to get up. I ran so much today. Worked out so hard. Now I gotta hit the gritty again. My legs. My legs are in pain. Okay. Fort saying pretty much what I was saying, right? I honestly don't know where Mario Kart as a series can go from 8 without going a bit deeper in the guest character aspect, and I agree, because already the roster is huge, right? I mean, let's go into it quickly just to show you. I mean, yeah, that's what, 8 characters times 6 rows. That's 48 characters already, and not a ton of just like reskins, right? It's not like Mario and Luigi in Melee, right? Or Dr. Mario. They're all relatively unique in that. And as much as characters in this game are unique, I don't know. And that roster's already pretty varied. You've got some of them even introduced with the Booster Course Pass. You've got Peachette, you've got Kamek, you've got Pauline, you've got Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, even the metal variants. You've got Metal Mario, Pink Gold Peach, which even people were complaining about at the time. Seeing it as sort of like, oh, you're just filling a character slot. Well, if you want like 60, 70 characters, yeah, you're going to start scraping bottom at some point. Link, the Animal Crossing characters, Squid Kid. You know, we're already kind of out of the realm of Mario characters, unless you start bringing over some of those ridiculous variants from Tour, where there's a million different versions of each character for gacha purposes. Maybe that's something you do. You just have like seasonal or you know, unique character variants of each person. So there's like 6 Marios you can have. There's 8 Luigis. There's 5 Paulines. Maybe that's a lesson you learn from Tour. I would much rather they do something like that rather than try to incorporate the frenzy mechanic. That's for sure. There's no Rosalina. In the new one? No, there is. I think that was confirmed. I will riot if there's no Rosalina. Yeah, no. Confirmed characters for the new Mario Kart. This is on the Mario subreddit. We have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, the redesigned Donkey Kong at that. Daisy, Rosalina, Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Toadette, maybe Koopa Troopa, maybe Pauline, maybe King Boo, Birdo, and maybe Shy Guy. So already you have a pretty variable list. And you need it because apparently we're going to have 24 racers on a track. So, I mean, how is that going to work? There's so many questions, and I'm really eager to see where this kind of goes, ultimately. They might actually lean into the Wonder Powers. That I could see working really well, especially if they soften some of the designs up. You know, like we've seen, Donkey Kong's been completely redesigned, kind of more matching the movie design of Donkey Kong. If they soften it up like Mario Wonder kind of softened up the art style and made it a little more cutesy and almost cartoony in a way, I wonder if maybe Kart is going the same direction. And I don't know if I love that, again, because I'm so attached to this, which I thought the 8's art style is just absolutely pitch perfect. So I'm not sure. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot of context from it. It was like 5-6 seconds of footage, maybe. So there's a lot that we need to figure out. Some are hypothesizing, like you were saying, Fort, that one item that's hanging out there that you can see in the teaser is some sort of like Wonder Seed equivalent. I guess we'll have to find out. Bowsette character when? Not out of the realm of possibility, I would say. Mario Kart also needs more weight variety. Most are middleweights. Oh, I meant 8. I thought you were talking about this roster. Yeah, no. But I'm confused what you're saying. There's no Rosalina, because I am Rosalina on a bike all day. So maybe I'm just misreading. I bet a Dunkin' gift card that Nabbit will be in the game. I could see that. I'm not going to take you up on that, because I could also see that Nabbit is there. I do think that more distinction in Kart weight and consequence of that would be substantial. So, for example, what if there was so much less off-road impact to a light kart, but you are incredibly flimsy as a result, where the slightest touch sends you flying, and getting caught in any sort of that 24-player traffic means you're basically off the course. Similarly with heavy, you are, or maybe that's the thing, you are less weighed down by off-road, but items take you out completely. There's room for deviation in that, which I think would be interesting. Let's see. What if you can get a wonder item that completely changes the track, like that old racing game Split Second? That, I think, would make a lot of sense, and I'm wondering if that's sort of the direction they're going, where you still have all these mechanics incorporated, but wonder abilities or wonder pickups substantially change the track and almost warp you into something else, where it's an entirely different layout that still matches up time-wise with where you are, or introduces new hazards, or changes the background up, or does any sort of, adds a lot of dynamism to the track, which I think is something that, you know, people complained about, like in the Booster Course Pass, for example. There was no day to night transition in Sunset Wilds, with a lot of people missed, because that level of dynamism doesn't exist in Kart 8's engine. I could easily see that as a way that you could shake up the new one and give it a lot more dynamism from that. It is a top tier race. Split Second's amazing. Mid-race direction changes. Yes, that's another great one too, where Tour is already doing this, and the Booster Course Pass does it as well, where there are different paths where each track becomes a section track to some degree instead of a lap one where you go different ways. Really lean into that and take that from Tour, where, yeah, you have dedicated separate routes through the track for each lap. Maybe not for all tracks, but certainly for some, and I think that breeds a lot of variety, and that would be interesting. F-Zero does have a weight mechanic, I think, and I think Mario Kart could do more with its, especially in terms of how a weight stat impacts the rest of you. Acceleration, off-road, handling, how you thump other carts around or not. Also, YouTube chat isn't showing in stream. No, it was, and it was before, but we haven't had anyone chat from YouTube in a while, so it only shows the last, 5 to 6 messages. 5 to 8, whatever. But I think it was shown, but good to make sure that it's all working. Yeah, there were some before. People haven't posted on YouTube since we kind of started. I just hope we finally get Kirby as a guest. I could finally use a lightweight character. That would be great. And if you're gonna expand, especially lean into those kinds of mechanics, why not? Kirby is a light character. You want to dip into something like Pikachu as a like. See, there you go. Full Metal's testing there and there. It's been a very Twitch heavy stream tonight, I think is the only concern there. But no, have that where, you know, King DDD comes in and he's a real heavy one. That sort of thing. If you're going to lean into it, that's one way to embrace kind of a tweak in the mechanic. Some Nintendo characters already have cars, that is true. You know, we already have F-Zero themed tracks. Where's Captain Falcon? Exactly. Kirby, Star Fox. Multiple. That's tracks plural for that. So I don't know. In a sense, I hope it almost is just a little bit more iterative, but part of me also feels like it's been so long since Mario Kart 8 kind of first came on the scene. There is going to be some expectation that you really move the franchise forward in a considerably comprehensive and appreciable way, right? So you can't just probably tack on new weight mechanics to 8 and call it a day. You know, adding 24-person races probably isn't enough to differentiate it. You do need some big hook and different mechanic for it. Wonder Powers would certainly get it there. Playing with the course layout would certainly help, where maybe there are some like dynamic... You want to talk about dynamism, not just having like separate paths through the track. Have it dynamically selected, or have some way that you can pick which of like the 3 or 4 routes you're going down. Track's already split in 2. Why don't they split in 3, 4, 5 sections that are all equivalently timed? I mean, it's basically Yoshi Valley, right? But maybe tie that in with a Wonder Seed ability or something like that. So there's a lot of room to experiment. The only question I sort of have is, will the whole package ultimately feel like a bit of a regression from how incredible Kart 8 has been? You even saw that with something like Mario Kart 7 coming from Mario Kart Wii, where it added the aerial segments, it added gliding, but it really, and I think maybe underwater sections too, but it really didn't feel like a substantial step forward from Mario Kart Wii, right? Maybe some people thought that returning to a traditional one person per kart layout coming from Double Dash was a bit of a regression in Mario Kart Wii as well. From my perspective, I do think the anti-gravity stuff in Kart 8 and a lot of the mechanics changes around that really substantially pushed it forward. And it was a really appreciable change. So I wonder how they will do that in the next Mario Kart to differentiate it, make people feel like it's a dramatically different and unique experience that is special and worth your time and worth getting a Switch 2 for, because it will be a system seller, make no mistake. Kart always is, without feeling like it's somehow going backwards from Kart 8 and Kart 8. Obviously, I'm super biased, so again, love to hear your perspective on what you think it needs to do and what you think would be interesting, because I'm so tied to this. It's a little hard to not think about it in those sort of competitive terms and have a little bit of a skewed perspective on what it should and shouldn't be doing. At any rate, I've talked on long enough, and we are well past when I wanted to wrap up for tonight, but that's what happened. So quick programming note before I just having too much fun. We just have too much fun. That's how it goes. Quick programming note before we sign off for the night. The next review is probably coming sometime next week. I was, projecting late January for it, and that's probably where we're going to end up with it. Still some kind of obscure console from around the time that a lot of people have been suggesting, maybe. There have been some really good guesses on what that console is going to be and what the game is. We'll see probably next week. I will update the Discord channel that sort of shows progress on it. I will say it is not the Ouya. that I can rule out right away. So that's coming. It's mostly written. It's partially gameplay recorded, so we'll catch up on all of that. And it's the other game. It's the Lynx. Oh, it's the Atari Lynx. Can you imagine? That would be really interesting to try to gameplay capture or emulate. Oh, God. Can you imagine? Oh, so at any rate, that's coming. There will be more streams next week. including the regular one on Tuesday, which maybe will be Marvel Rivals. Fort, you want to play Marvel Rivals, everybody? Maybe I dig out a Commodore 64. Maybe I ran it through 7 different converters and dongles to get it to hook up to a capture card. Who's to say? Maybe you'll find out next week. Maybe Marvel Rivals next week. Maybe more this. Maybe Splatoon. We haven't splatted in a while. Maybe we split the time. Maybe we make it a little longer stream, half Rivals, half Splatoon. That sounds fun. I've been wanting to splat. I need a little more splat in my life. Maybe that's got to happen. Salmon Run. Who wants a little salmon run? I do. And then next Thursday, so a week tomorrow, so January 31st, will be the next Stardew Valley Community Farm, so make sure you're up and at 'em for that. Sarah might be joining us. We had a pretty brief one last week with just myself, Xerox, and Full Metal, so that'll all happen next week. So it'll be a good full week of Hypocritic content next week. You're getting a new normal live stream, you're getting a new Stardew Valley Community Farm episode, and you're getting a new review as well. Lots to look forward to. Thanks so much for tuning in. In the meantime, this has been Hypocritic GG, streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, I'm Cheatspeed. Thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with us. Always appreciate the support and appreciate your time over everything else that you choose to spend with us on a regular basis. It is always appreciated and never taken for granted. That much is true. Stay fresh, cheese bags. We'll catch you back here real soon.